Welcome everyone, join us today as we delve into the life and legacy of Chris Squire, the legendary bassist and co-founder of the iconic rock band Yes, known for his groundbreaking bass techniques and distinctive sound. So let's dive in. Christopher Russell Edward Squire, born the 4th of March 1948 in Kingsbury, London, in England. Raised in the northwest London suburb of Kingsbury, Chris developed a love for music early on. His father Peter was a cab driver, and his mother Joanne worked as a secretary. Influenced by his father's records of Lena Horne and Ella Fitzgerald, Chris's primary interest was church music. At 6, he joined the church choir at St Andrew's in Kingsbury with his friend Andrew Price Jackman, eventually performing at St Paul's Cathedral. Their choirmaster, Barry Rose, greatly influenced Chris, teaching him the importance of hard work. He also sang in the choir at Haberdashers' Aske's Boys' School and played the harmonica on his way home from school. Chris didn't consider a music career until he was 16, inspired by the beat music boom and the Beatles. A school friend suggested he take up the bass, noticing his tall frame and large hands. Chris bought his first bass, a Futurama, which he described as very cheap, but good enough to learn on. In 1964, Chris was suspended from school for having long hair and never returned. His mother helped him find a job at Boosie and Hawkes on Regent Street, selling guitars. Using the staff discount, he bought a Rickenbacker 4001 bass in 1965. Chris's first band was The Sin, a rock and R&B group with Jackman on keyboards and Martin Adelman on drums. Their first performance was at the Graveyard, a youth club in St Andrew's Hall. In 1965, after several lineup changes, Chris, Jackman, and Adelman formed a new Sin with singer Steve Nardelli, guitarist John Painter, and drummer Gunnar Jokol Hakonason, later replacing Painter with Peter Banks. The band shifted from Tamla Motown covers to psychedelic rock and gained a following, securing a residency at the Marquee Club and a contract with Durham Records. They released 2 singles before disbanding. Chris frequently used LSD in the 1960s, regularly visiting the UFO Club while on the drug. However, a bad trip in 1967 from a friend's homemade LSD led to a hospitalization in Fulham. When police questioned him, he fabricated a story about an unknown Australian at a wimpy restaurant. After this experience, Squire never took LSD again. Following his discharge, he secluded himself in his girlfriend's apartment for months, venturing only to the corner shop. During this period, he intensely practiced his bass, developing his unique style influenced by John Entwistle, Jack Bruce, Paul McCartney, Larry Graham, and Bill Wyman. In September 1967, Chris joined Mabel Greer's Toy Shop, a psychedelic band with Peter Banks, Clive Bailey, and Bob Hager. They performed at the Marquee Club, where Jack Barry, owner of La Chasse Drinking Club, noticed their talent but doubted their future. Barry introduced Chris to John Anderson, a bar worker struggling to find success as a singer. Discovering shared musical interests, including Simon and Garfunkel and vocal harmonies, Chris and Anderson quickly collaborated on Sweetness, a song that would later appear on the first Yes album. As the band evolved, Anderson and Chris recruited drummer Bill Bruford, keyboardist Tony Kaye, and guitarist Peter Banks. They decided to drop the name Mabel Greer's Toy Shop, choosing Yes, originally suggested by Banks. Yes played their first show at a youth camp in East Mersey, Essex, on August 3, 1968. Chris explained, "I couldn't get session work because most musicians hated my style. They wanted something more basic. We started Yes to develop everyone's individual styles." Chris also created a bass solo called A Bass Odyssey. In August 1969, Yes released their self-titled debut album, featuring photos by Martin Adelman, Chris's former bandmate. Chris co-wrote 4 of the 8 tracks, Beyond and Before, Looking Around, Harold Land, and Sweetness. When Alan White replaced Bill Bruford in 1972, Chris adjusted his playing style to fit the new rhythm section, finding he could play less while still making an impact. He regarded his work on the Remembering, High the Memory, from Tales from Topographic Oceans in 1973 as some of his best. Chris was the only member to appear on all 21 Yes studio albums from 1969 to 2014, contributing significantly to their music and backing vocals. His final album with Yes was Heaven and Earth. While Anderson wrote most lyrics, Chris co-wrote much of Yes's music with Steve Howe, occasionally with Anderson's input. Chris and Howe also provided backing vocals in harmony with Anderson on songs like South Side of the Sky and Close to the Edge. In the early days, Chris was known for his lateness, often driving recklessly to make gigs. He once caused an accident in West Germany after falling asleep at the wheel, though no one was hurt. A posthumous plaque humorously titled, "The Late Chris Squire," referenced his chronic tardiness. Chris, along with Alan White and Steve Howe, co-owned the Yes name, so the 1989 ABWH lineup couldn't use it. Later, after Chris's death on June 27, 2015, Yes performed their first concert without him on August 7. Billy Sherwood replaced Chris for the remainder of the 2015 tour. Chris focused mainly on Yes music throughout the years, with minimal solo work. His debut solo album, Fish Out of Water in 1975, featured former Yes members Bill Bruford and Patrick Moraz, as well as Andrew Jackman. In 1981, Chris joined the short-lived XYZ project with White and Jimmy Page, recording demos that influenced later Yes tracks like Mind Drive and Can You Imagine? However, Led Zeppelin's Robert Plant was not ready to join, and the project dissolved after objections to the band's name from Zeppelin's manager. Chris helped bring Trevor Rabin into the Cinema project, which evolved into Yes' 90,125 lineup. Later, he teamed up with Yes guitarist Billy Sherwood for the side project, Conspiracy, releasing their self-titled debut in 2000 and The Unknown in 2003. In late 2004, Chris reunited with the Sin, releasing Sindestructible in 2005 before the band disbanded again. He also worked on solo projects, including the 2007 Christmas album Chris Squire's Swiss Choir, and the 2012 album, A Life Within a Day with Steve Hackett. Personally, Chris was married 3 times and had 5 children. He married his first wife, Nikki, in 1972. She sang on the 1981 single, Run with the Fox, and their 1975 album, Fish Out of Water. They had 3 daughters, Carmen, Chandrika, and Camille, and divorced after 15 years. Chris's second marriage was to actress Melissa Morgan in 1993, with whom he had a son Cameron, born in 2000. Morgan appeared on The Young and the Restless. His third marriage was to Scotland Squire, who gave birth to their son, Zillan, in 2008. They lived in Phoenix, Arizona, after previously residing in Chelsea. On May 19, 2015, Yes revealed that Chris was battling acute erythroid leukemia and would step away from performing to undergo treatment. Just over a month later, Chris passed away on June 27, 2015, in Phoenix, Arizona, at age 67, while still receiving treatment. The following day, Yes confirmed his death on their official Facebook page. Tributes came from musicians like Brian May, Geezer Butler, Gene Simmons, and Tom Morello, as well as from his bandmates Jeff Downs and Bill Bruford. His death occurred 13 years later to the day, after his early musical influence, John Entwistle. And there you have it. Thank you for joining us in celebrating the life and legacy of Chris Squire. His innovative contributions to music continue to inspire and influence musicians worldwide. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more stories about the legends of music. Take care and bye for now.